A big hello and a warm welcome to each and every one of you. You're with me, Pig Brain, here today, and it's a really momentous occasion as we pick up yet another season of A Class Apart, the Mrs. Ygp Memorial Quiz 2023. Started by the Padma Seshadri Bal Bhavan group of institutions in the thick of the pandemic, it's a quiz which is a tribute and a celebration of Mrs. Ygp's life. A doyen in the field of education, someone who loved children and was very passionate about India. The quiz is a dedication to these youngsters and to tell them more and get them to learn about our country. Over the last couple of seasons, this quiz has grown not just in stature, but also in terms of the level of difficulty. They've all gone through multiple rounds to reach here into the semi-final stage that you are going to witness from here on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's a little bit of trivia in this. Mrs. Ygp actually wrote her articles during her journalism days under the pen name Rashmi. Well, appropriately enough, our host, who's going to take you through the semi-finals, is Rashmi. Well, the Rashmi we are talking about is an alumnus of NITK Surathkal and IIM Calcutta, and she has of course been a prolific host over the last couple of years, be it co-hosting a Tata Crucible with me to her own quiz shows that she has built over the last couple of years. She's the only professional woman quiz host in Asia today and has been hosting the Mrs. Ygp quiz with me since its inception. Ladies and gentlemen, to take you through the semi-finals of this season of this quiz, it's my pleasure and privilege to welcome on stage your host, Miss Rashmi Furtado.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Class Apart Mrs. Ygp Memorial Quiz 2023. We have completed 2 semi-finals already and identified the first 2 national finalists of this quiz for this edition. And it's time for us to move into the 3rd semi-final and identify that winner from among these 4 semi-finalists here today who will join them in that national final that's coming up. This, of course, is a beautiful quiz that is created especially for the middle school children from our country. So classes 5, 6 and 7 are the ones who can take part in this quiz. And also, the entire quiz is on India. So let's get to it. Let me quickly introduce our finalists to you and then we will get started with the semi-final. Our first semi-finalist for the day, joining us from the Vidyaniketan Public School, is Meet Jain. Following Meet, joining us from Presidency School, is Shreyansh. From the Vidyaniketan Public School again, joining us is Keshav. And completing this lineup for us here today is Omkar, who's representing the PSBB school from KK Nagar. So these are our finalists here today. They have gone through multiple preliminary rounds and then a quarterfinal to reach this semi-final here today. So, and they are seasoned quizzers. Believe me, I have seen these faces before. I know how they quiz. They do quiz a lot. So let's see how they perform in this semi-final here today. Ladies and gentlemen, A class about Mrs. Ygp Memorial Quiz was created in the memory of Mrs. Ygp, a well-known educator from our country, a legendary educator from our country actually, and this is created in her memory by the PSBB group of institutions, especially for the children of middle school, as I mentioned earlier. And this has been going on year, and I've seen many students come into this quiz, do very well, and they sort of, I think, get trained, and then when they move on to their high school, they do even better in those quizzes there, because I've seen them progress to the other quizzes as well. So let's see if these kids are able to do that too. So let's get started with this semi-final here today. As I mentioned earlier, the entire quiz is about India. So our semi-finalists need to keep in mind that the context is going to be India. They should not get carried away by what I'm asking and think of India as the context in the back of their minds. So let's get started with the first round of this quiz. Coming up is She is Historic. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, just for you all to know, the scoring pattern is plus 50, minus 50, single attempt per question. Only multiple attempts are not allowed. Rest of the rules is what they are very familiar with, so I will not get into that. But one thing that all of us need to remember is that only the winner from among the four of them will qualify to that national final that's coming up. In this round, we have 5 questions, and 5 questions are basically visuals that will come up on their screen, and along with that, I will have corresponding questions. If they press the buzzer, they're letting me know that they know the answer, so I stop reading out the question. So let's see what happens. The first one coming up on your screen now. The lyrics of the song first appeared in 5 stanzas in an issue of Tattva Bodhini Patrika. The melody, Omkar is on the buzzer, go ahead.
Vande Mataram.
All right, taking a minus 50 on that. He is on the right track, but he gave me the wrong answer. Let me complete this entire question. I said Tattva Bodhini Patrika. The melody of the song is Raga Al-Haya Bilawal, was composed as a Brahmo hymn. The song was first publicly sung in the annual session of the Indian National Congress in Calcutta on 27 December 1911. What I was referring to is the national anthem of our country. And that gives a minus 50 to Omkar. Like I said, right track, but the wrong answer. Nevertheless, it's too early in the semi-final. He can very easily negate that minus 50 and move into the positives. So let's move on to the next question. Question number 2, here we go. This monument is a giant open-air rock relief known as Descent of the Ganga or Descent of the Ganges or Arjuna's Penance. It's known by both the names. Where in Tamil Nadu is it located? Name of the place. In fact, that entire place, go ahead, Meet. He's on the buzzer.
Mahabalipuram.
Plus 50. Very good answer by Meet there. Mahabalipuram is what I was looking for. In fact, that entire place is now the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and you'll see many, many beautiful monuments and rock cut reliefs there. If you ever get a chance, you must go visit Mahabalipuram. So let's move on to the next question. Question number 3, coming up on your screen. Here we go. Identify this World Heritage Site in Goa. Goa is a good clue. Keshav on the buzzer. Go ahead.
Basilica of Bom Jesus Church.
Plus 50 to you. Absolutely right. Basilica of Bom Jesus is what I was looking for. Let's move on. I thought I saw Omkar was trying to press the buzzer, but he was a little too late. Keshav went for it before he could press that buzzer. So let's move on to the next one. Question number 4, coming up on your screen now. It is conducted on the evening of 29th January and is performed by the bands of the Indian Army, Indian Navy and Indian Air Force, and pipe bands from Army plus a formation of bands of the Central Armed Police Forces and the Delhi Police. The chief guest of the function is the President of India, who arrives escorted. Shreyash, go ahead.
The answer is Abdel Fattah el-Sisi.
Minus 50 on that. I was just going to complete or continue my question saying the President of India arrives escorted by the presidential bodyguard. What is this ceremony that I'm talking about that officially denotes the end of Republic Day festivities? The answer that I was looking for is beating the retreat or beating retreat ceremony that happens at Delhi. All right, it's basically a very lengthy explanation of something that I'm sure you're already well aware of. So let's move on to the next one, the last one from this round, coming up on your screen. Here we go. The signing of the instrument of surrender by Lieutenant General A.A.K. Niazi marked the end of which war? Go ahead, Omkar. He's on the buzzer.
1971 Indo-Pakistani War.
Plus 50. Beautiful answer. Very good answer by Omkar there. And ladies and gentlemen, it was very important plus 50 for him. He has negated that minus 50 that he had early on in this quiz. He's back on nil. A very good place to be. He only has to move into the positives now. Very good answer by him. And we've completed the first round of this quiz. Let's move on to the second round of the semi-final. She is beautiful. Here we go. All right, 5 questions appearing on your screen and corresponding questions from me. Rest of the rules remain the same, no difference and no change at all. All right, question number 1 coming up on your screen now. According to the Hindu mythology, the lands of which state? Go ahead, Shreyansh.
The answer is Parashurama. He sent an arrow to the place called I don't know the place exactly, but the figure shown is Parashurama.
My question was, according to Hindu mythology, the lands of which state? That is where you stopped me. The answer for that, at least that much, can't be Parashurama. You have to give me a better answer. It is the semi-finals. I have to be strict. You move into the national final after this. There is some amount of risk that is involved when you press the buzzer before you allow me to complete a question. Your final answer, Shreyansh, Parashurama?
He sent an arrow to a place in Tamil Nadu, which is now a temple.
Minus 50. I'm completing the question. According to Hindu mythology, the lands of which state were recovered from the sea by the axe-wielding warrior sage Parashurama, the 6th avatar of Vishnu. Hence, it is also called Parashurama Kshetram, or the land of Parashurama. The right answer that I was looking for is Kerala. Kerala is what I was looking for as an answer. There's always a risk when you press the buzzer a little earlier, but then that's how you play a quiz. Sometimes you have to take your chances. That's okay. He will make it up a little later. Let's move on to question number 2 coming up on your screen. Here we go. Identify the old world monkey found in western Assam. Oh, no one going on this. Time is up. They are taking too long. All right, I have to be strict with the timing, ladies and gentlemen. Around 5 seconds is what they get to press that buzzer, failing which I move on to the next question. The correct answer that I was looking for is the golden langur. The golden langur is what I was looking for. Let's move on. Question number 3 coming up on your screen. Here we go. Identify the highest railway station in India situated at the... Go ahead, Keshav.
This is the Kalka Shimla train, Darjeeling.
Plus 50. Darjeeling is what I was looking for. He gave me the answer. I was just about to say minus 50, but before that he told me Darjeeling, plus 50 on that. All right, I will wait for you all to complete the answer. I mean, that's what I did with Shreyas as well. I will be fair and I will wait for you. Let's move on. Question number 4 coming up on your screen. Here we go. What is common to all of these? Nalumbo, Nucifera, Omkar, go ahead.
Are they all national symbols for India? Nelmo newspaper has lotus and Panthera tigrisis, Bengal tiger. They are all national symbols of India.
With the first one and the last one, he cracked that. He gets his plus 50. He's absolutely right. It's the lotus, banyan, peafowl, mango, and the Royal Bengal tiger. All national symbols of our country, giving Omkar that plus 50. Good answer by him, that good quality answer. Let's move on to the final one from this round, ladies and gentlemen, coming up on your screen. Here we go. The name of this glacier is in the Balti language refers to a land with an abundance of roses. The glacier's melting waters are the main source for the Nubra River in Ladakh. It is the longest glacier in the Karakoram and the second longest in the world's non-polar areas. Which glacier am I talking about? Glaciers? Oh, no one going on this one. Time is up. I have waited long enough. The right answer that I was looking for is the Siachen. The Siachen Glacier is what I was looking for as an answer. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're waiting to know the score, so let's quickly take a look at the score before we move on to the next round of the semi-final coming up on your screen. All right. Keshav currently is leading with 100 points. And close behind him are Meet and Omkar, both of them on 50 points each. Shreyash has to work a little harder. He's on minus 100. He will have to put in a little bit of extra effort to negate those 2 minus 50s that he took early on and then move on to the positives. For now, let's move on to the next round of our quiz. She is inspiring. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching a class apart Mrs. Ygp Memorial Quiz 2023, an initiative by the PSBB group of institutions, especially for the middle school students of our country. And all of them have gone through multiple rounds and reached this semi-final here today. We are halfway through into the quiz, and I think it's still too soon to say who will win and qualify into that national final. So let's see what happens. We move into the next round with 5 questions coming up on your screen. The first one, here we go. Identify the author who was an Indian-born British hunter. Omkar, quick on the buzzer. Go ahead.
Jim Corbett.
Jim Corbett is absolutely right. Plus 50 on that to Omkar. Well, Jim Corbett was actually a hunter, then turned into a conservationist, which is why we have a national park named after him. He worked towards conserving and protecting the tigers later on. So Jim Corbett giving Omkar the plus 50. Let's move on. Question number 2 coming up on your screen. Here we go. Identify the Indian athlete who became the first Indian woman to win javelin throw gold at the Asian Games. Very recent. Go ahead, Omkar.
Anu Rani.
Anu Rani is absolutely right. Getting a plus 50 on that again is Omkar. If I'm not wrong, I did hear the commentary a little bit. They did mention that she was not necessarily having a very good run up until then, but then she played beautifully at the Asian Games and won the gold for our country. Let's move on. A proud moment for us. Let's move on to the next one. Question number 3 coming up on your screen now. Identify the Padma Vibhushan awardee who is a Kathak maestro. Go ahead, Meet.
Pandit Birju Maharaj.
Plus 50. Absolutely right. Pandit Birju Maharaj gives him that plus 50. Question number 4 coming up on your screen now. Identify the organization. Keshav, go ahead.
In the photo, it is PT Usha, and the organization is Indian Committee of Olympics, or
you're on the right track. You have basically just mixed up the words a little bit. Give me your correct answer. Just repeat what you
Indian
said.
Committee of Olympics.
All right, I'll give it to you. Your words are basically mixed up. The order of the words is what he has mixed up. P.T. Usha is the president of the Indian Olympics Association or the Indian Olympics Committee. He gets plus 50 on that. He just interchanged the order of the words. I would give plus 50 to anybody on that. Let's move on. The final one from this round coming up on your screen now. Identify the person who was the first woman to hold the post of the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Meet, go ahead.
Meera Kumar.
Plus 50. Very good answer. Good quality answer by Meet there. Plus 50 on that one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have completed 3 rounds of this quiz. Time for us to take a quick look at the score before we move on to the last round. All right. Okay, there's quite a bit of a tie there on the score. We have Meet Jain, we have Keshav and Omkar, all of them on 150 each. Something similar happened in the second semi-final as well, and I made a comment there that it kind of seems like a national finale right there, and today it's happening again with the third semi-final. This is why I said that these kids have gone through multiple rounds and they're very well prepared, because at a semi-final level, if this is how they play, you can only imagine how good they will be at a national finale. All 3 of them with 150 points. Shreyash is on minus 100, but even now, if he's able to give me very good answers and at least majority of the answers right for the last round, he also still has a chance to win this quiz. So let's move on to the final round of the semi-final, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. She is a class apart. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the third semi-final of a class apart Mrs. Ygp Memorial Quiz, brought to you by the PSBB Group of Institutions. Like I mentioned a little earlier, these finalists have been playing really, really well. The last 5 questions of the semi-final is what's remaining. In this round, nothing will appear on your screen and you have to listen to what I have to say, which means I'm the only one who can give you any clues. So be very careful on when you want to press that buzzer. Good luck to all of you. Remember, at this point, all 4 of you have an equal chance to win this quiz. Good luck. The first question coming up, here we go. Which Nobel laureate was born as Andrzej Gongshe Bojaksu? Go ahead, Omkar.
Mother Teresa.
I was planning to continue the question and tell them that she is known to have lived in Kolkata for the major part of her life and live a life of service. Mother Teresa, absolutely right, giving Omkar that plus 50. All right, question number 2, here we go. Which state in northeastern India has become India's first fully organic state by converting around... Go ahead, Omkar.
Ma'am, Sikkim, ma'am.
He did not allow me to complete my question, but he got that right. Plus 50 on that to Omkar. The entire question would have said around 75,000 hectares of agricultural land into sustainable cultivation. Sikkim has already achieved that, something that probably all of the states of our country should aim towards. But for now, let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. Which day in January is observed as National Girl Child Day? A good question to ask at a final where there are all boys. I would be keen to know who knows the answer. All right, time is up. No one knows the answer for this one, ladies and gentlemen. The right answer that I was looking for is 24th January. 24th January is the National Girl Child Day. The penultimate question of the semi-final, here we go. Which trains were introduced to commemorate the birth centenary of Jawaharlal Nehru? I basically need the name of the train, the title. All right. Omkar, go ahead. I was just about to say time is up.
Vande Bharat.
Vande Bharat, giving him a -50. If I were him, I wouldn't have been taking that risk. Let's hope that hasn't, impacted his score or his position in this quiz. The right answer is the Shatabdi Express. Shatabdi is what I was looking for. The final question of this semi-final. I feel I must tell you the scores at this point, ladies and gentlemen, because it has reached a point where you would want to know what the score is. Meet on 150, Keshav on 150, Omkar on 200. Let's see if there is someone who can challenge Omkar for the winning position. The final question of the semi-final. Here we go. Which operation was launched by the government of India to evacuate Indian citizens from Israel during the 2023 Israel-Hamas conflict? Current affairs. Current affairs. Keshav, go ahead. He's trying.
Operation Ajay.
Operation Ajay. He has a lot of stress on his face. You should not stress. +50 is absolutely right. Operation Ajay is the right answer. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Keshav on 200, Omkar on 200. And now we have a tiebreaker for the winning position of the semi-final. Ladies and gentlemen, the tiebreaker questions are here. The rules are basically, it's going to be a sudden death situation. They press the buzzer, they give me the right answer, they qualify into the national final. If they give me the wrong answer, the other person qualifies into the national final. Even if they choose not to answer once they press the buzzer, they will still get a negative. The buzzer rules do not change from the semi-final to the tiebreaker. So good luck to both Omkar and Keshav. Let's see what happens. Only one person goes through. Tiebreaker question number 1. Here we go. Timiti is a festival where people practice and demonstrate which of these? Fire walking or ice walking? Go ahead, Omkar. He's trying.
Fire walking.
Fire walking, he says. Do you know which part of the country it used to happen?
Don't know.
All right. No problem. All I asked was fire walking or ice walking. He gets a +1 on that, ladies and gentlemen. Fire walking is what I was looking for. Even if you have not witnessed anything like this, you would have seen something like this in documentaries or in movies. That entire festival or that ritual is called Timiti. Omkar getting a +1 on that, ladies and gentlemen. The final tally on your screen. With 201 points, Omkar from PSBB KK Nagar qualifying into that national finale of a class apart Mrs. Ygp Memorial Quiz 2023. Keshav losing on the tiebreaker. He's on 200 points. Meet Jain gave some very good answers. Just one answer less, and otherwise he would have also been a challenger for the winning position from the semi-final. He's on 150 points. Shreyansh on -100, he could not recover from the negatives he took early on. I believe he knew more answers because I saw the body language, but he was probably a little too slow in pressing the buzzer. It often happens. With practice, they get better, and I hope to see all of them back in the other quizzes or the next year in the same quiz and see them do very well. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, our third national finalist of a class apart Mrs. Ygp Memorial Quiz 2023, Omkar from PSBB KK Nagar. You don't go anywhere. We have another semi-final to finish, after which we would have completed our lineup for the national final of this quiz. And I'm sure that quiz is going to be at a whole different level altogether. But for now, you must join me in the final semi-final. That's the fourth semi-final of a class apart Mrs. Ygp Memorial Quiz. You take care, and I hope to see you in the fourth semi-final.